Welcome back to Sun, Sand, and Sold. I'm Josh Tomey with David Haber, welcoming Andrew Falsetto. Andrew, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm good. How are you guys?
And you are CEO of Ariete Hospitality.
That's correct.
I got to ask out of the gate, Ariete, what? And we talked a little bit before you came on the show of all the different ways that we could either butcher or repronounce that name, but where did it come from?
So chef's grandparents, they ran a restaurant in Cuba called Ariete. So chef's idea was, when I eventually have my own restaurant, one day it'll be called Ariete, homage to his grandparents.
Oh, that's great. And it's a lot of chefs' heritage, baked into, no pun intended, baked into the concept of the restaurant itself.
No, it's broiled into it.
That's a right way of saying it. Yeah, anything that chefs does is a lot. It's a lot of him inside of it. A lot.
And how did you come together? How did Ariete Hospitality come to be?
So, like I was telling you guys before, I started this. I was an accountant and whatever. I stumbled into hospitality. And
so I've never heard of a bean counter switching into hospitality, but there's always a first.
There's always a first. Maybe I'm the only one. But in the end, what ended up happening is that my brother and I had bought Taurus back in 2013, and we loved it. We're like, this is a great business. It's super good. But
Taurus and Coconut Grove?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was a go-to spot starting in the 70s or 80s when I first moved to Miami, way before you were born.
Yeah, we weren't alive. So it's okay.
69 is when Taurus started. Mm-hmm. And so as like an institutional place and really cool, my brother and I bought it. And as you may be aware, Taurus doesn't have a kitchen. So the restaurant next to us became available. And my brother and I were like, well, we need to buy this restaurant because we need to be able to provide food for Taurus. And if somebody else comes in and buys that restaurant,
you're in trouble.
Yes. I have no control. I can't do anything. So we're like, we have a great asset. We got to protect it. We got to protect Taurus. So just randomly out of the blue, my father told me that one of his friends told him that there was this chef who was looking around for a restaurant and if I would like to meet him.
So just for our viewers, in legal parlance, that's called double or triple hearsay.
So
we've been told.
Yeah.
So basically I asked my father, okay, who is he? I need someone. I don't know how to run a restaurant for sure. I barely know how to run a bar. And he said, oh, it's Michael Beltran. Do you know him? I'm like, oh man, he's the guy that runs the Cypress Room. And the Cypress Room at the time was my wife and I's favorite restaurant. It's a Michael Schwartz restaurant right around here, actually, where it used to be. I don't know what's there now, but so my wife and I loved that restaurant.
Right under the overpass, right? Right by
I think it turned into, it was a pizza thing recently.
That had sort of the hunting lodge theme. It was sort of like, right?
Exactly. It
was good. It was great.
Yeah, and I loved it. So my wife and I used to go, like I said, I absolutely want to meet him. So chef came down to Coconut Grove. We went for a drink at Green Street and we talked and I sat there. I'm like, man, this guy is special. He's unique. He's different. I absolutely want to make a deal with this guy and figure it out. And he told me his vision for Ariete, new American restaurant, using his, French style food, but putting his family's heritage into it and so forth. And
his family's heritage is?
He's Cuban American.
Right.
Yeah. So chef is definitely Cuban American. He makes both those things. He's not just Cuban, he's a Cuban American.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely the American part's important to him too, not just the Cuban part. So after we met, it was just like, well, let's make a deal. And he was wanting to open Ariete. So we did Ariete in its current location when everyone told him he was insane for wanting to open in Coconut Grove.
Oh, I thought they were going to say he was insane for partnering with you.
Well, that's probably the case now.
Yeah. But you also mentioned to us before we started the show today where the name Ariete came from. I think that's interesting. We'd like our viewers to hear that.
A lot of chef's story and inspiration comes from his family. His grandparents worked at a restaurant called Ariete in Cuba. And so as he was doing, whenever he thought when he was a young chef, he's like, one day when I have my own restaurant, I'm going to honor my family and my grandparents. I'm going to call it Ariete.
I love when people's dreams come true.
Yeah.
It's a vision. It's always an amazing story, not only when their dream comes true, but it becomes such a success.
Yeah. He's still there. Like the first thing is pictures of grandparents up in the restaurant.
Right. That's
all
cool.
those things, and a lot of stuff on the menu is things that his grandparents used to make for him. His grandmother used to make him certain.
I wonder whether we're going to get a free dessert when we go there.
That's
guys,
we'll work.
You let me know. When
We'll work a coupon out of this somehow.
You know me.
Early bird special. We were at dinner last night at 6 o'clock. So, as long as you're open nice and early.
Well,
for us,
I'm getting older. What do you want from me?
So speaking of the name, and I'm speaking both on my behalf as well as a lot of my friends, the name Ariete is said with a lot of culinary reverence now in Miami. In fact, it's now, I would say, become sort of a quintessentially Miami restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
What did you capture with Ariete? I mean, what is it that led to that sensibility? I mean, all the accolades aside, what is it that you all found that was so special? Because it's an incredible restaurant.
Listen, I would say that Ariete is something that is so special to us, and we're so happy that people like it. And but I think the story of Ariete is very interesting because early on we really struggled and it was really hard, and I wasn't really involved very much. I was supposed to be passive. Like, this was a passive investment.
Was your brother supposed to be involved?
My brother was also supposed to be passive.
Oh.
Right. And so
that didn't last long.
No. So what ended up happening is in our early struggles, which what I would say our first couple of years, it was pretty difficult. And I figured I had to use the skills that I knew.
Your business skills.
My business skills that myself and my brother knew, and my accounting skills.
Yeah.
And, Chef, my brother and I just sat down, like, what are some of the things we need to do to, make this restaurant a success for long term? And so we worked on plans together. I got directly involved. Chef and I started working super closely together. And the chef was like, tell me what I need to do in certain factors, give me budgets, tell me where I need to be, and let me handle it.
And you have a background in restaurants from up in Canada.
No. I would say I'm aware of restaurants. My father was in real estate. I was at restaurants a lot. I hated work. My dad actually had a summer job every year in Miami at what was called Cafe Bola, which was my dad's restaurant along with his two brothers. And this was
working with your brothers is a family affair for you.
Very close. My cousin Mark is a super successful hospitality guy as well, and he's got Runway 84 and a bunch of other stuff.
I know Runway 84.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, my cousin's a brilliant hospitality guy. We're extremely close. We do very different type of hospitality. We're very different, but it's an incredible resource to have to,
of course,
talk to my cousin. So I kind of knew of hospitality and I learned a little bit about it. But once I jumped into it full force, you're learning every day. And so working with that, but you're trying to save your investment, which at the time for me was everything that I had, was into Ariete. And, we were young at the time. And,
how long has the restaurant been open?
On January the 16th, it's our 10-year anniversary.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And when did you get your Michelin star?
Our Michelin star we got in 2021.
Big boost, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. We were just going back to the original thing, and I'll lead up to there, but the original reason why Ariete is so special to us is because it hasn't come easy. It's taken probably a lot of years off both of our lives.
Yeah, I see the gray.
Definitely. I'm getting up there. And
he's only 23.
I wish. I think I'm 23.
One day,
I was going to say we act like we're 23.
One day, if you're lucky, you'll get one of these gray beards.
Okay, I'm cool. My wife always tells me the white beards are hot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, wait till you have no hair.
As long as she's cool with the white or gray beard and the shaved head, I was going to say when it all comes together.
Going. I want to hear the rest of this.
So Ariete, it's important because of what we did. We started this. We did not have financial backing.
Right. The struggles. It's all about the struggles.
And then we almost lost the business. And then we took it from the brink of extinction to surviving it because Chef was like, failure is not an option. I will not lose Ariete.
And most successful people have had either failures in their background or close to major failures. And they come back from the brink and they learn such lessons about their own internal strength and all of the experience they get, and then they become super successful.
Right. Well, it's like Michael Jordan talking about he learned more from his losses than he did from his wins.
Yeah, he didn't make the high school basketball team.
Right.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's 100%
greatest
true.
Player in the history of basketball. Sorry, LeBron.
We're not going down that road right now.
Although I'm a big Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem fan, but so be it.
Who? I'm just joking.
So with that, during these years, I remember there was, me and Chef going over budgets, and he's like, all good. I'm the general manager, the chef. And I remember him running, I remember this, like during these times as we were starting to pick business back up, Chef and Chef Gio, who's now known as Pastelito Papi, the two of the guys used to do brunch all by themselves. And we would do about 140, 150 people to 200 people on weekends for brunch, and it'd be only those two guys.
Right.
That's what our budget was.
Right.
So,
wow.
And they crushed it. And so it was things like that. So how we got there, and then we just started finding people on the team that were like-minded and talented. And then we started building the business. And then during the pandemic, and
that had to be really hard, the pandemic.
It was, but it also made us exactly what we are today. It was like how we did it. We pushed boundaries. So that's when Chef started doing, like, he did a tasting menu series. I'm like, who the hell is going to spend $300 a person at Ariete during the pandemic?
Mid-pandemic, right?
Yeah. And like in the middle of summer, sitting outside.
In summer.
Outside.
And yet
Chef did it, and it was incredible. And it gave everybody on the team this confidence that they could do it, and people would come.
Right. Necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, it's
Always.
that creativity is sometimes born out of being backed into a corner, right?
And we also hired during that period, the people that we hired during that period to be managers at other restaurants, waiters, stuff like that. They're all our director team right now.
Yeah, because all the restaurants that closed had great people, but the restaurants couldn't afford to stay open.
They closed, and we just got lucky in a way that,
by the way, luck is where hard work and opportunity meet is what luck is.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had to put in that hard work.
For sure.
Yeah.
So Andrew, a lot of people think Miami restaurants live and die on personality, and that personality ultimately sort of drives the crowds and the reviews and all that. What is the personality of Ariete? I mean, who is Ariete if Ariete was a person?
It's Michael Beltran. You're going to hear his name a lot, but it's Michael Beltran. The personality of Michael Beltran was some elements of me, some elements of my brother, some elements of our team. It really is, Michael Beltran by and large. And really, we pride ourselves in being a Miami hospitality company. We are not like, we love this city. We really care about it. We care about everything that happens in the city. We want to support the people in our city. And it really is trying to be quintessential Miami, and as much as we can. And so every single thing that we do, we care about. So it's like,
Let me ask you a question more generally about the Miami food scene, which has evolved since COVID with the New Yorkers, with the New York restaurants coming down here, with all of the talk about Miami's food scene. And talk to me a little bit about how you see it as one of the success stories with your, I guess I would say, professional colleagues in the industry. And how do you deal with the difficulty, for example, of summer when so many people are gone? And I know that Miami Spice is a thing that everybody has tried over the last, 5 to 10 years to try to help out. But you're seeing great restaurants come to Miami with great chefs, and now Michelin stars around town. I'm not saying they toss them around like Frisbees, but they didn't have any, and now we have a number of them. How do you see the food scene, the foodie, and how do you see whether it's the pricing, the difficulty in summer, the ones that are opening and then closing, and Wynwood and other areas? How do you see it?
And by the way, you have to answer all 47 of those questions that he embedded in that.
Lawyers
monologue.
would say I just asked not only a compound question, but 7 compound questions.
Well, I think, listen, the Miami dining scene is relatively new. I remember growing up in the 90s here, there was nothing. I remember complaining all the time to my dad. I'm like, there is nowhere to go. I don't want, every restaurant sucks. The only place that I remember that I loved in the 90s, which was my always request, was Old Lisbon. The original Old Lisbon. I used to just
on Sunset?
No, the original one is on Coral Way.
Okay.
And it was a smaller version of what it is today. It was a really small restaurant when it first opened. But I remember this is the only good restaurant. I'm like, so Dad, just take me there. Every pizzeria sucked. Everything was bad. And maybe there's some stuff that I didn't know about, but at the time we couldn't find anything good.
This wasn't a food city.
No, and I think it really evolved. Even when I was here in 08, there wasn't many, like, there was a lot of restaurants, not many great ones. And then you started seeing improvement, and then you started seeing, and I think a lot of it started with specifically Michael Schwartz, because he developed an army of young chefs that went through him that started doing all these cool things and all these different things. So that's like the local hospitality scene.
I would argue Michelle Bernstein as well. And there was a guy,
Norman Van Aken.
There you go. And they did like
they were early seeds.
They were early seeds of what now has exploded.
Sure.
But I agree. Post-recession, there was a lot of young talent that came out of it. And when I came here and I opened Four Seasons, we had a couple of chefs and restaurateurs that came out of sort of my graduating class at Four Seasons who went on to become the Pabelli guys.
Yeah.
Ani S. Meinhold, who did Fuck Yeah.
Yeah. No cursing.
Like that group, you know, there was sort of this a little micro explosion of kind of like local talent that did it.
And that's what I don't think we had before. And those three chefs specifically are responsible for the local growth, I would say. And
talk about the influx though, and how it's affected you, if anything.
It doesn't affect me at all. I honestly, I think some of it's great.
Do you welcome the competition in the sense that it gets people aware of all of these fine dining experience?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think there's some, challenge that will come with it. And like I said, we're not trying to be any of those things. Right. We are trying to be a local community restaurant, family run business is the way that I like to think about it. And we are very different from that, very different from them. And we will always be very different from them. But there's a space for everybody.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like I go eat everywhere. I eat everywhere. Like some people, you're Ariete. You don't go to Carbone. I absolutely do go to Carbone a lot.
Shout out to Mario.
No, I love going to Carbone. I think it's great. I love the
interesting scene, if nothing else.
Yeah, but like, listen, it's solid food, great ambiance.
What's that pasta? The spicy
rigatoni.
I mean, it's like crazy.
Like, it's fun. It's a good experience.
There's another grandmother recipe right there.
Yeah, like Prime 112. I love Prime 112. Right. Miles is a legend.
Shout out to Haberlaw's client, Miles Chaffetz.
He's a legend. He's incredible.
He really is. And he on South Beach, when he opened 25 years ago or whenever it was risky also. I mean, all of you take these risks. I mean, what do they say? 1 out of 10 restaurants makes it. Mm-hmm. So not only did you make it, but you've made it, with the quality and the style and the accolades. It's really incredible.
Yeah. Like what does bother me is when a restaurant opens and closes. Like a restaurant closure bothers me. Anybody's restaurant.
And you've seen that this summer, there were a bunch of Wynwood and other area closures of restaurants that literally they were open for 18 months, 2 years, and they just couldn't make it. And they were good restaurants.
Yeah. And I think the problem is that a lot of them are coming from outside of Miami. And they come into Miami and they're like, oh, it's just like New York. It's nothing like New York. And so I always like if someone from outside the city or outside the country, and they're like, oh, we would like to talk to you about Miami dining or what's going on here. I will happily meet them, engage and talk to them to try to guide them because, it's a
unique place.
Yeah. And Miami has its own challenges. And I don't think that people will realize that there's a lot of market saturation in Miami for restaurants. Everybody thinks it's 100 million people here. We're under 3 million people in Miami-Dade County.
Right.
So like there's only so many restaurants to go around. And so choosing which location to go into.
And transportation is really a difficult scene here. So we've had shows just about transportation and the difficulty. Like, for example, my wife is from the Gables. So she knew all the Gables restaurants. Mm-hmm. I'm from the beach. Going to the Gables is like I have to, plan way in advance.
Right.
And everybody from out of town sits there and goes, Miami Beach, Wynwood, and then maybe Brickell, you know? And I'm like, do you really understand Wynwood and the complexities of working in Wynwood and what the season looks like? It's highly driven by tourism. It's different. It's very different. And, you're going to open some big fancy Italian restaurant in the middle of Wynwood. And like, oh, look at all the development around here. But I'm like, yeah, but do you know that there's another Italian restaurant here and another one here?
The restaurants in Wynwood, it's crazy how many there are.
Do you realize that in the summertime, it's going to take a severe dive? Whereas if you open in Coconut Grove or Coral Gables or South Miami,
you're going to have
Kendall,
a lot.
Like nobody wants
You're going to have locals.
You could have locals. Like nobody wants to open in Kendall. I'm like, why not?
Right.
They have
Why
some
would you
great
not? They
restaurants. in
do,
Kendall.
but you don't hear of any out-of-towners going,
No.
let's go to Kendall.
Right.
There's a massive opportunity in areas like that to really have impactful, make a lot of money. So anyways, going back to it, it bothers me deeply when a restaurant fails because oftentimes it gets written as a failure because of Miami and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's a failure to understand the city, understand your market, what you're trying to accomplish, and just seeing the bright lights of Wynwood or Miami Beach and saying, this is where we need to be. Well, think about, where you want to go and maybe you want to put it. And so there's not enough knowledge of the city to basically really be successful, and they close. And, like I said, it bothers me. Somebody's lost money somewhere.
Right.
Which is.
So another question before you get to ask all of your questions. What about the knock on Miami on hospitality, that we don't have sophisticated professional servers and the quality of workers here is not what it is in other big cities? How do you find that criticism?
Again, you don't understand Miami if that's your criticism. There, of course, it's not as easy as New York because you have restaurants and Michelin stars forever, and you have 10 million people and whatever. Like, of course, it's easier. Miami's a new dining city. People are just, starting. But like I said,
You think we'll develop a more sophisticated
for sure
labor force?
For sure. I just look at my company, how it's evolved, and that's the evolution of it. My team is badass. Like I think I have the best hospitality team in
Shout
the city.
out to the Ariete
Without a
Hospitality
doubt.
team.
They kick ass.
So let's talk about Ariete Hospitality, because you're more than just the one restaurant now. Why are you hospitality and not the Ariete Restaurant Group, for instance? And
Because it's been our business plan, and obviously the business plan is my brother, myself, and Chef. Are the business planning individuals, and always what we wanted to do is every single concept we do is personal, and the minute we get away from personal, we lack the same amount of success. And I think it's maybe because I think when you go into a restaurant or wherever it is, that you kind of can create a relationship with a guest. And if you're able to do that, they'll come back. And that's really what we want. So all of our places, we want them to be long-term. We're not.
So you're getting a loyal following, and most importantly, of locals.
And people who like us, or people that are from out of town that want a Miami experience.
let's talk about the other restaurants.
Yeah.
Walk us through the portfolio a little bit. I'm really interested in the connective tissue, because it sounds like there's an underlying ethos. It's like there's sort of a personality behind the Ariete restaurants, but what either connects them or how do they get defined?
Okay, so this may take a few minutes.
Let's do it. We're settling in.
See, he has one question,
lean back,
but it has a long answer.
Yeah. So we talked about Ariete before. Chug's Diner is basically Chef and I do all of our big long meetings. So if we have a day that we got to go through stuff, we always go to a diner. And the one we love to go to is Jimmy's Diner on, I think it's 80th. And
up by my house in Morningside. Yeah.
So we go to Jimmy's Diner.
Classic.
Right? So me and Chef go to Jimmy's Diner. We go with all of our stuff and we spend 8 hours at Jimmy's. And we're just like, man, we fucking love diners. The best. These are fucking best. And the thing with diners is they're always on the side of the road, like a main street or something like that. And we're like, man, if we could do a diner, that would be badass, right? If we could do a really cool one. Imagine we could find a space in Coconut Grove and do a diner down the street from Ariete. It'd be the best. We could do all our meetings there, And so that was kind of the start of it. And Chef then obviously goes home from that and will text me at 1 o'clock in the morning. This is what we do. I have a thought. And I'm like, yes.
Here we go.
And then here we go. And it's
Right.
like, I think we should do this diner. And my question is, what? Do you think Coconut Grove, we don't even have any Cuban restaurants. Do you think Coconut Grove will actually support a Cuban diner or Cuban food? He's like, we don't know if we don't fucking try. I'm like, all right, let's go. So we started.
By the way, the mark of success is when you get to start having conversations like that. Let's do it. Let's do it
Can we
anyways.
get a medianoche in Coconut Grove?
So, Chef then took a different similar take with Ariete, but did it like Foodie grew up on, the American and the Cuban part of him, and he mashed them together. We got an opportunity with a space that is Chug's now. We also wanted a place to showcase Gio Pastelito Papi's Pastelitos. So we put all that together, did a pop-up run in a very small space, had lineups immediately, and then we turned around, said, let's do it. Took the space next door, built this diner. Again, the name Chug's comes from Chef's high school nickname was Chug. So that's his nickname, Chug. So,
Okay, so everybody now knows the background of Chugs.
yeah, so that's the background. It was Mike, and Chef does not like his name on things. So I remember one time I said, Ariete by Michael Beltran, you're getting famous. Why don't we he's like, no fucking way. I'm like, okay, Chef. So then my wife, who's like our director of marketing and branding, she has come up with most of the names of our restaurants. And so she has a list for all the restaurants. And she's instantly, she's like, this is the one I think we should do Jugs. And of course, Chef picked every single one, but that one. He's like, that I don't want. And I was like, why not?
Guess he didn't like his nickname from school.
No, it just doesn't. Once his name on it, then changes his mindset.
Interesting.
And it makes it more personal for him. So then he becomes crazier and more, I would say,
intense.
Yes.
The last thing chefs need is more crazy, right? It's like typically they're full up on crazy.
Would
already.
you agree that chefs are a special breed?
Yeah, but he is extra special. And I will admit I'm also extra special. So it works very well. We are both nuts. We both agree that we are both nuts. So that's why it works. So we had to convince him on Chugs. And he was really upset. And he left and he came back and then he was like, we tried to convince him again. And he said no. And then finally he did yes. So he got into that one. And, obviously Chugs has been a labor of a lot of work and love because it's, something that never closes is really challenging to figure out. But
never closes.
Well, we do, but it's, it's like versus a dinner shift, right? Where you have to prepare for 3 to 4 hours.
So what's the hours of Chugs?
So Chugs on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we open from 7:30 to 3. But then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we open from 7:30 and close around 10, 11 o'clock every night.
That's a long day.
Yeah, it's a long day, but people come in nonstop, right? That's the kind of concept it is. So it's really
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, that one there, obviously, the scapegoat on Miami Beach, obviously, that was a little, I would call it pre-Ariete because we were really more in the passive investment phase there.
Right.
So, we did that and really we just loved that space when it used to be called.
For our listeners, where is that?
First and Collins, right beside Stubborn Seed, between Stubborn Seed and Motec. And it used to be my favorite bar for my brother and I. It was when it was called The Room. It was a beer and wine bar. So my brother and I figured out a way to get a liquor license in there and wanted to just really have like a New York style cocktail bar on the beach. And it's all full of restaurants, but there's no bars.
Right.
And we spent a lot of time in that neighborhood. So
it's a great spot.
We're really connected to the South Fifth area as well.
And I love Stubborn Seed.
Yeah, I love Jeremy's amazing.
Stubborn Seed's great. Motec's great. I mean, those
awesome, are
awesome
again.
strip.
We're getting. I mean, Stubborn Seed's been around longer than Motec. Well, no, Motec was in the jewelry place.
Yeah,
in the Seabolt building forever. Exactly. But now it's gone to other places.
New York.
Yes, yeah, it's amazing food.
Yeah, it's great. And so we did that one, and that was just kind of again. It's like my brother and I just were really interested in this style of cocktail bar in a place that we spent so much time growing up.
What's your favorite cocktail there?
Oh man,
we should have asked him to bring some in.
Oh man, that's a good call.
No, I don't think. I don't think I could have survived last night. And then, but what's your favorite cocktail there?
Oh man, I honestly, I don't even.
That's pressure.
It's not because there's no pressure on it. Because I like to drink tequila sodas and dirty martinis. That's what I like to drink.
All right, there you go.
Or
what vodka?
Oh, I always ask for Grey Goose.
All right.
I always ask for Grey Goose. I'm not picky on my vodka, but tequila I'm more picky on.
Oh, which tequila?
Oh, I like the Casa Dragones Joven.
Okay.
That with one.
Josh is a tequila guy. I'm more of a vodka, scotch, and bourbon guy, but everybody likes tequila because of the calorie thing. The taste doesn't do it for me.
I think if you're counting calories while you're drinking, you're off on the wrong foot.
But Josh had last night a tequila.
It was a 1942 old fashioned.
That's good.
Tasty.
Yeah. I mean, people who like tequila, that's like, I tried. It wasn't bad, but tequila is not my thing. In any case, I'm going to get to more of this in rapid fire, but go ahead. What was the next one that you opened?
Okay. So then it was Chugs. And then basically what happened is during the pandemic, Chef, my brother and I had this crazy idea that we were in a different place. We were very comfortable that we were going to be, because a lot of the laws that were passed, especially when Governor DeSantis forced basically the cities to request exemptions from his rules, would have to do it in writing. They were no longer allowed to, because if you remember, you could do one thing in South Miami, but not in Miami. It was ridiculous. It made no sense. People were just crossing city lines to go eat somewhere or do whatever. So as soon as he basically said, you cannot do anything outside of my rules, or you have to ask for my request.
And his rules were keep it open.
You cannot impose anything on anybody. No mask mandates, no closures, no nothing. You're not allowed to do it. So everyone's like, we're screwed. So we just have to fall in line, which is basically.
Well, that's when New York shut down and businesses couldn't survive, and Florida was booming.
So, and at the time too, right? Like there was a lot of restaurants that closed and stuff like this. So landlords, so we were like, there could be some good opportunities to get some cool properties. So we went around, started identifying stuff that we wanted to do. So, we ended up going, doing a deal at the Miami World Center. That's where we have Brasserie Laurel and El Vecino. We've always called Brasserie Laurel like Ariete's sister restaurant, just a French version of it. And El Vecino was just something during the pandemic that I did a lot of, which was smoking cigars. Right. And Chef and I like to smoke cigars. And so one day we're sitting at Galliano Cigar Lounge, and we're just sitting there like, man, we should really do a cigar bar. And we're like, yeah. But what if we provided restaurant style service at a cigar bar instead of cigar bar style service, which really cigar bars would run, it's very, very similar ways. But what if we took like a more hospitality approach and really just ran it like a restaurant, make it super nice? I'm like, man, can you imagine how nice it would be to feel like you're in like an Aspen ski lounge?
It sounds like you develop restaurants that you want to go to.
It's
like basically, it's sort of like let's get a place that we'll go to, and
for sure. And I'm an avid. I go out all the time, right?
And you try other restaurants and different groups
all the time.
So the name of the cigar bar is
El Vecino.
El Vecino.
What's your favorite stick?
Oh man,
what's your go-to?
My go-to is the 1964 Padron Lancero.
Nice.
But we just brought into our humidor a whole line of Plasencias. And I'm like, I had the hexagon. It's phenomenal. I think I'm going to become a Plasencia addict.
I'm friends with the former owner of Alec Bradley, and they had Cigar of the Year from Cigar Aficionado magazine a couple of years ago, and I like those. Although life insurance company, I don't smoke cigars.
Life insurance company, I smoke a lot of them.
Yeah.
So
they're like, we know.
So like that. Yes, they are places that because in the end, inherently, if you're in this business, it consumes you. I spend again, I've got, family and friends, and I do personal stuff, but you're consumed by your job.
Of course.
And so
if you're successful, if you're successful in any business, your personality and your signature and your sweat and tears and blood is in that, venture. And we can hear that about you and Chef and your brother, which is amazing. It's amazing the successes that you've had. Now, can I just say, interlude here?
Please.
Not one coupon. So far, I'm up to 5 coupons at 5 different places. I got a cigar bar. I got a beach bar. I got Ariete. I got Chugs. I'm already up to, and then the one at World Center. I'm up to 5 coupons.
I think we could invent the Ariete crawl and just sort of see if we can tag them all in a night.
There's no doubt you'll be exhausted by the end of it. Just the Coconut Grove ones is a lot.
But I figure start with Chugs, right? I mean, you've got breakfast, so it's like you start to pivot from there, and we can make that happen.
Yeah. No, you start.
And late night, or a cigar bar or beach bar,
And I haven't told you guys about my new place.
Okay, let's hear.
Let's go. So anyways,
I'm just getting coupon after coupon. This is great. Honey, we're going out.
So the thing is that if you do something, a place that you love and that you care about, I inherently believe I want to do it because I will push myself even more, right? I will push myself even more, and I will go there and make sure it's perfect, and I will care about every little thing.
And if you love it, you want other people to love it, and you have a passion for it.
Listen, and then I look at it from the outside as a consumer and all the places that I like to go. And I'm like, would this be a place that I would enjoy if it wasn't my own? And would it be a place that I would take my wife or go with my friends? And if the answer is yes, then I think I've got a good idea. And then I sit on it for 2 months. And if my answer is still yes, then it's a good idea. And then
So you give it time to marinate.
Always time to marinate. Well, I'll tell you the new
2 months sounds very short in terms of time to marinate?
So we had,
But I guess that depends on if the right location comes up.
it has to be the right, we don't force anything. We have a concept. We sat our newest concept, or we're opening 3 right now. So we opened 1 this week, one on Monday, 1 on Tuesday.
No way.
Another one next week. Yeah.
In the same, within 10 days?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I told you we're half insane. So
Let's hear about the 3 new ones.
the 3 new ones. So think about time and marination. So we open Chuggies. So this is Chuggy, which is basically Chef Mike as a child.
Okay.
Okay. So in the early Ariete years, Chef talked to me. So this was probably 2016 or 2017. Chef had spoken to me about an idea for basically a Cuban burger spot that he called Chuggies. And him and his best friend came and drew the Chuggy. And then they had this whole idea of this brand. And we've talked about Chuggies every year for 9 years, I think now. And then all of a sudden we had this opportunity in the Grove, and we had space that we were doing a project on. And, the idea is like, maybe this is the time for Chuggies, because it's just a small 500 square foot space. And this could be the perfect place for Chuggies. And so he was like, man, that's going to take even a lot more out of me. Because, again, it's him. It's one of his like real things, it's something about him. And Chuggy is a version of Chugs, so a lot different. So, it's a concept we developed. And like I said, we were sitting up for 9 years. But had to be the right
That's
location,
crazy.
right
Cuban
time.
burger joint.
So it's more. Honestly, right now, I'm so happy with it.
I can't wait to taste the fries.
I'm so happy with it because I love fast food, right? And but I don't eat it very much.
I don't
But
eat
love
any
it.
fast food.
This is gourmet fast food.
But that's the point.
This is gourmet
You
fast
can't catch me at a Burger King or a McDonald's. Sorry, Pizza Hut. Forget it. Not happening. Taco Bell. But for me, a great burger joint, it's like I salivate.
Yeah, this is like, I think, listen, it's what we love, what I love out of it. So it's burgers, like American style burgers, Fritas, so Cuban burgers, chicken sandwiches, chicken nuggets, kids meals, and soft serve ice cream. And then you get like cookies and like stuff like that.
Right.
Obviously, being in a Coconut Grove is really developed into a family neighborhood. So my daughter is 8 years old, and she goes to all the restaurants, and she has a lot of opinions. And but a lot of my time is, Chloe, where do you want to go eat? And she's like, well, I want to go to, I'm going to go to Angelino's. Let's go to Chug's. Let's go here. So, a lot of what we were doing, I was like, Chef, we need to do soft serve. He's like, so I was thinking soft serve too. So then no shakes. I'm like, no, soft serve. I think, Chloe, what do you want? She's like, oh, soft serve would be amazing. There's nowhere to get soft serve. There's lots of ice cream in the Grove, but no soft serve. So really we're all family men. Chef's got a kid too now. So we're kind of thinking as family men too. So
Nice.
I also think it's awesome.
By the way, for the record, my wife calls it a cheeseburger. I call it a burger with cheese. Drives her insane.
That is kind of annoying, actually. A burger with cheese.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Like from Pulp Fiction, like Royale with cheese. Is that
no? For me, it's a hamburger, and then you're adding cheese. To my wife, it's called
not a restaurant
cheeseburger.
You're cut off for the next 5 minutes.
All right, let's hear about after Chuggies. What's next?
So what's next is we just opened this Tuesday. It's called Maze Room. It's a cocktail lounge.
MAZE.
MAE apostrophe S. Like May the name.
May. Okay.
Yeah.
And where is that?
That is literally, all of these are right behind Chugs. Like everything is in a vicinity. Like
the man is controlling Coconut Grove.
I was going to say the Coconut Grove.
Listen, everybody loves Coconut Grove now, but Chef and I were one of the few people that loved it as a business community from a long time ago. And don't be afraid of neighborhoods. I'm telling everybody about South Miami, even though I'm not there. I'm saying South Miami.
South Miami and Kendall.
Great neighborhood.
Yeah.
Kendall,
some great restaurants already.
Kendall, Pinecrest, South Miami.
Palmetto Bay.
Yeah. All these are great places.
There's a great restaurant in Palmetto Bay.
Although our buddy and former guest, John Wilo, did the Coconut Grove anthem, the music video. And he would definitely agree with the Grove.
Wieslow?
Yeah.
All right. So
he's called Wilo. That's his rap name. Sorry.
So now that means you have 3 bars. You got the one on the beach. You got the one at World Center, and now you have one in the Grove.
Yes, correct.
And
plus the Taurus.
Plus the Taurus, man.
And then there's still one more.
Yeah. So then we do,
We're going to
I'll
have
get
to
that after.
cocktail all of those places.
Then next week we opened Drinking Pig Barbecue. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
Nope.
Okay, Chef Raheem Seeley, he's the chef from Q in Wynwood, and he's the chef from Shiso that just opened not long ago.
Q reopened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had
It's a fire there.
Yeah,
Wasn't
there was a roof problem.
Yeah, no, and it was
Some
closed for almost 2
structural stuff.
years.
Yeah.
It's around the corner from Haber Law, by the way.
One of the
Yeah.
best
And Wynwood.
cauliflowers ever.
Oh yeah,
fried
absolutely.
chicken. The fried
Oh,
chicken.
that-
Fried
yes,
chicken is
that
amazing.
stuff, yummy. Yeah.
Yeah. So Raheem and Chef are super tight, really good friends, known each other forever. And, we were planning to do this barbecue joint. Chef was like, I think, because the chef's like, I don't know. I can do barbecue if I have to. I can figure it out, but I'm not a barbecue chef. So we probably should get someone in who can do this. So I'm like, okay, who do you have in mind? I'm like, I think I should talk to Raheem. So Raheem did Drinking Pig Barbecue. He did it out of his backyard during the pandemic.
Wow.
And I remember I used to watch UFC fights at my house. And my friends would drive from Coconut Grove all the way to his house. It was about a 40-minute drive to pick it up and then drive it back so we could eat it.
Did he have a pit? What was he doing in his
Yeah,
yard?
his pit. He basically had a smoker and he was just smoking meat. And
Awesome.
By the way, every Cuban in Miami can relate to that. One of my partners, Roger Slade, who's Jewish from New York, is married to a Cuban from Miami, and he used to have to go to Hialeah or Medley to pick up a pig, drive it home. It was called Pig in a Box or something like that, and they have the wooden box, and you put
Right.
it on the ground, and yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, right, everyone's like, I'll get to this in 1 second. But so anyway, Raheem's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. And it was for sure, it was a no-brainer if he wanted to do it. His barbecues was always the best in the city. And, obviously doing barbecue in Coconut Grove, there's nothing that exists around.
Is it around the corner from?
It's right there. It's all right there. It's like one there. If you know Florentine Plaza where Chugs is, there's the back, which is where all these places are. There's the whole courtyard, which is where all these places are. And then you have Chugs. So it's all there. It's all in the vicinity.
And that just opened, or it's opening this week?
Opening on next Wednesday. So
Do they have the brisket or just the pig?
no. There's not. Drinking Pig is because Raheem is from the Virgin Islands. And so he showed me this video and I didn't realize this. I was just like, when our first meeting about this, we went to Bodega, me, Chef, and Raheem, and we were eating burritos and talking about Drinking Pig Barbecue. I'm like, man, where'd you come up with the name Drinking Pig Barbecue? And he's just like, and he just shows me this video. And it's a video of these pigs taking cans of beer and literally chewing them and drinking them. And then spits out the.
No way.
I swear to God.
That's actually kind of the way he
In the
is.
islands?
In the islands. I'll show you guys the video.
Drinking
I got to
Pig.
see
I love
this.
It's
it.
pretty interesting.
I love it.
It's amazing. So, it's obviously Raheem, and it's again more personal. It's a Caribbean approach to barbecue. It's the way he does it, which is what we love, And we've gotten away from being afraid of controlling everything, or we're working with other like-minded operators.
Yeah, but you have to let them have their creativity as well.
Yeah, as long as we work together.
Yeah.
This is a team project. And as long as the team members, there's lots of talented people, but there's people you can work with and people you can't.
Sure.
Right?
So they got to be just any chefs out there that want to reach out to Andrew. It's crazy. Got to be crazy.
That's the prequel.
That's the
listen,
prequel.
dealing with me and Chef is a good time, but it's crazy. And we did the same thing. We just opened Angelino at Coco Walk, which is an Italian restaurant. And we partnered up with the Graspa Group. I don't know if you guys know Graziano. He was a Sella Maria 104, stuff like that. He's someone that I deeply admire. He's been in Miami food scene since the
Long time.
late 80s.
Yeah.
Late
So
80s been
we're
here.
getting Italian too.
Listen, it's incredible. We have another partner there, Angelo Cometa. He's a rock star. This guy's incredible. And he runs the restaurant.
So I could literally walk from one place to the other,
Without a doubt.
and within 5 minutes, I've hit 6 of your restaurants or bars.
9 probably.
Is there a totality of this vision, Andrew? Is this like you have a place you're going with it, or is this just like basically labor of love, and when you're inspired, a new one happens?
So, no, we definitely have a plan. Well, this was kind of like we were basically finished step 1, right? And we're entering into step 2, and then there's step 3.
Well, step 1 was surviving Ariete.
Surviving Ariete. But what we wanted to do is, instead of building a brand, which is a restaurant, and let's scale it out,
Right.
let's scale it out. We're like we think we can do different things.
I mean, I've listened for the last, 30 minutes, and I'm like, a burger joint, a diner,
There's clearly
an
nothing,
Italian
there's clearly nothing
restaurant,
you won't do.
a French style restaurant, a Cuban barbecue. You're like literally covering so many different types of food and so many different concepts, but they all come from your and chefs and your brother's creativity.
Yeah. And are there things that
Never heard of an accountant who was creative in my life.
There's a few of them.
But you got to admit, it's few and far between.
Depends, everybody's different. Some of them,
that's true.
I think a lot of times I like my accounting work. My favorite days are the ones where I go and close the door and I just work on numbers. I'm like so relaxed.
So everything is computerized, I presume, right?
Are you kidding me? I'm old fashioned. I do things the way I like. I do things the way I've done it for 25 years.
My dad used to use a pencil and an eraser.
That I don't do. I never write anything down. I use my brain for everything. So, and of course I forget lots of stuff, but when it's important, it's top of mind.
Yeah.
And then I still like using Excel sheets, and I don't like.
So let's talk about the third phase. Are you at the end of the second phase or in the middle?
Actually, let me go back to the first phase. The first phase was basically, we're not about a concept, but when you think about Ariete Hospitality Group, you think of a company that's does things and does it as good as possible. So the important thing is doing things that we're good at, or things that we can think we could do well, things that we enjoy doing. And so when you'd say, cool, these guys, it would provide opportunities, number one, because we don't know what's going to kick off, what's going to be amazing. We'll have some businesses in there, some are more successful than others. It's a long-term vision because there's no intention to sell our restaurants. That's not why we're in this. We're in this. This is a fun career. We enjoy ourselves. This is what we do. And we want to do this and I'll never retire. So I'll just keep doing it in a different way and just let young people take over.
Right.
After a while.
You are young people to me, but one day, one day.
Who isn't?
Boy, that was a little.
So, with that, obviously we had to kind of finish the things, and we have a couple other things that are happening in the next couple of months. And that really is going
to round out phase one.
And then phase two is going to be some unique opportunities that we're definitely looking into.
Do you think you'll leave Miami and go to other cities?
Yes, but it's only going to be places that I want to go.
Okay.
So
it's just like same thing about restaurants I'd want to go to. It's cities I'd want to go to.
You got to spend your time there. Like
right.
We are way too hands-on operators. We are not going to drop into Las Vegas, license our name out, and never step foot there.
But you might go to Austin.
No,
don't
love Austin.
Okay.
It's a cool city, but not for me.
Well, let me ask then a leading question again, and I'm only keying on the sort of the hospitality name versus sort of specific to F&B. Would you go outside of restaurant?
Hotel?
Maybe. Hotel, maybe. But not a big hotel. Certainly if there's like a hotel I could control, right. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's just the personalities that we have. Like,
so who, let me ask you a question. You've opened, I mean, my math is good, but I just heard somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 restaurants so far, restaurants or bars, could be a couple more, a couple less, with your new ideas coming out, locations. And I want to ask you specifically about real estate, because we do a lot about Miami real estate, condos, transportation. How are you finding rates, per square foot in the different locations? Are they too high in your opinion? Are they reasonable? Can a restaurant survive with a high rent per square foot? Because that's got to factor in. It's a big piece of your overhead.
It's a huge part of our business, and our business model follows. And
your dad and you were in real estate. So
for sure.
And it's got a lot to do with obviously location, but also the viability financially of a rent.
Yeah. And most of them are not sustainable. And like any place I've gone in, again, we are leased just like everyone else, but we've only gone into places where we have really great under market leases, because the market lease.
And are your average leases 10 years, 20 years?
As long as I can get.
Okay. So
as long as I can get.
Right. And so you're basically taking your concept and you're waiting around till you find A, the right spot, and B, financially viable. You're not going to chase a spot with a monster rent that you can't sustain.
Never. Because
but people from out of town do,
because they just think about.
They want to get in the market.
want to get in the market and they want that location, and then they're behind the eight
So
ball.
patience is a virtue.
It's what I'm exercising, waiting to hear his answers to your endless questions. So
Oh,
why don't we let him
All right.
finish answering a question?
No, definitely the rents are way too high. But I always, talk to some of our friends in the industry and stuff like that. I'm like, it's not only your rents are high, you have to have somebody that wants you. And if somebody that wants you, the landlord that wants you,
We'll make a deal.
We'll make a deal. And then you generally have also a good landlord who will help you. And honestly, my landlords are all excellent. I feel like
Shout out to the landlords in Coconut Grove and downtown.
Landlord, people don't think about the landlord relationship, but
It's huge.
There are times that you need help or you need something and then they're there, or you go through a time like COVID, or you go through either, like one of my landlords is Miles, right? Because he's
Shout out to my client.
No, Miles definitely is one of the best landlords I've ever worked with.
He obviously gets it, right?
By the way, he's a lawyer and he's in real estate.
Yeah, and I feel like he actually cares about us as a tenant.
So one of the things you're saying about success in the restaurant business is a very good partnership between landlord and tenant.
100%. And like I've got an incredible, like there's the local guys like Miles, and then I have Federal Realty who owns Coco Walk as my thing. Those guys are incredible.
But when people see people with passion, success, vision, they look at it as a landlord and they go, I got a long-term tenant here who's going to make it, and I'm going to have steady rent, and I'm going to have someone that I can count on, and I'm not going to have a space go dark, and it's good for them and it's good for you. Yeah.
And it's like I said, with anything, you want people who believe in you and believe in what you're doing, and your landlord is your partner, whether you like it or not. And if you could,
that's a great point.
Yeah. And I think that
I never thought of that,
but a lot of people look at their, like every landlord is the devil, and it's absolutely not true.
Not if you have a good one.
Yeah. And if you have a good one and they want you, like it was like people need to want us. And yes, we are not Major Food Group, like there's like, people are like, oh, like I love Major Food Group. They're great. And they are great. But, like I know that we do not have the same sex appeal as, Carbone does, but we still are cool and we do cool stuff. And there's some landlords who would feel differently and want a local brand.
Right.
And that's where we fit in. We're a Miami brand. And if you want a Miami-based concept in there, I would love to talk to you.
And your view of restaurateurs is there's room for all of you. There's room for your vision and your type of restaurant. There's room for Major Food Group and others. And what I really liked, what I heard, is that you support all of it.
For sure. I go to like I love going to the mom and pop places. And a lot of times people they just like one type of restaurant, right? I like going to all of them. And for a lot of different reasons. Like I love going to the surf club. Like I love it.
The Thomas Keller restaurant.
Yeah, I love the surf.
We were supposed to go there for my birthday, but we didn't last year.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, it's your fault.
Probably.
Like Prime One. I love going to Prime 112. I've been going there forever. I still love it.
Haberlaw's holiday party will be at Prime 112.
You going to invite me?
Yeah.
He's waiting for his coupons first.
Listen, I think Stubborn Seed's incredible. There's always this rotating list. I'm getting really intrigued by like Coat is another experience that I love.
Oh, we just went there.
I love Coat. I think it's such a fun restaurant. And then, like I said, a lot of these smaller restaurants too, really cool. I love the new Daniel Steakhouse. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't been there yet. I heard it's good.
It's cool. Danny Genham's the chef there. He's incredible. He's phenomenal. Stuff like that. And those are some of like the big restaurants, from bigger groups. And
what about that novel concept? I think it's in Little Haiti.
Boy a Day.
Not Boy a Day, although we went to Boy a Day like that. It's this place. It's a steak place where they take you in and you see the side of beef, and we talked about it.
We did.
Mike Weinberg told me about it. Shout out to Mike.
Well, let me ask you this, Andrew, because it's interesting. I'm thinking about you guys in the Grove, and obviously that seems like home to you, right? I mean, that's sort of that's the nesting spot. When you compare opening a restaurant in Coconut Grove and opening a restaurant in World Center, right? I mean, it almost seems like worlds apart.
It is worlds apart.
How does is it just a different approach, putting the landlord piece aside? And I think your point about landlord being a partner, kind of like a food purveyor, they're intrinsic to your recipe, no pun intended. how do you look at location that way and say, are you framing the personality of the restaurant in part around that location? And therefore I got to figure there's like a complicated balance of like being like, hey, this is like some like cool down home. This is local stuff here in the Grove. World Center doesn't feel local the same way.
Nor does South Beach.
By any stretch of the imagination.
No, you absolutely have to think about your neighborhood, because Miami is a city of lots of different neighborhoods that are very different. And we're becoming a city because of traffic and all these people that are here now, that people are staying within their neighborhood. So you really have to, like, if I live in the Grove, I don't leave the Grove. I have one car. My wife and I share it. And it's 10 years old and I have 30,000 miles on my car.
Right.
So
I don't go anywhere.
I don't go anywhere. When I do, I Uber and I go
when
to
you
restaurants.
sell your car, can I buy it? Because
It's literally has no mileage. So it's
I'm saying.
new. Yeah.
You know, my wife and I have 2 cars, but the reason is she always needs a quick exit when she gets mad at me.
We're going to leave that one alone. We'll go back to you with your neighborhood.
So yeah, no, it's all very different. And World Center is obviously was a little more complicated because we went in there and nothing was developed yet.
I was going to say, you're early still, right?
And it's still early now. Like all the condos are getting built. So it's there and you can see the market of people that are moving in there, and it's very different. And the demographics are totally different.
So all these new multifamily, these condos, these condo hotels, they're also impacting your decision-making.
For sure.
So the real estate areas and who's living there and what is on the development plans going forward affects where you want to be.
Yeah. And like I said, like something like World Center, you don't actually know who's going to move in yet until they move in. So, you know, the demographics will change and you need to establish that when you're doing it. But like I said, it's basically, you know, it's different neighborhoods. You got to take different approaches. And like I said, I know Coconut Grove like the back of my hand at this point. And so I'm very confident with Coconut Grove and what we're doing there. And I'm like, yes, this will do well. Yes, I'm pretty sure.
How academic are you that way? Like, do you dive into like deep research? I mean, so many of these seem like passion projects, sort of optically. Do you like get into those numbers? Do you analyze demographics? Do you look at spend patterns? You sort of say, look, this has got the right field, it's got the right rent, it's got the right partners. Let's go.
A lot of it's gut.
There's a lot of gut and talk to people. I've basically talked to, you know, I've got a good group of friends and I got a good group of kind of friends and a good group of people that I talk to all the time. And I've got great partners, but in reality, you go out and spend time with people, you go for dinner and you don't go at your restaurant. Right. You go out and you go hang out and you go elsewhere. And it's like, you go and you talk to these people and you're like, so what's going on? And then they ask me questions about restaurants and I talk to them back and, you know, like.
Do you ever bounce ideas off of other restaurateurs? Or you worried they're going to steal it?
No, I'm never worried about that. I'm like not shy because I'm not like, you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And I would prefer to
I'd be paranoid and go, I can't talk to them because they're going to steal my idea.
Well, I'm not going to get into like a concept development necessarily, unless with some people that I'm close with. The problem is that by nature, restaurateurs oftentimes are going to feel like, you know, this is competitive or like if you talk to someone, they're trying to get something out of me.
Yet I don't get that feel from you in this conversation at all. No. You're like, we're all going to do well or try to do well. And we're all in this together. And this is an area of business that you have a passion for and you want everyone else to do well. I like the spirituality of that.
Yeah. Listen, there's helping people can be very rewarding or seeing people succeed. I don't like seeing anybody fail. And like I said, somewhere like some people may not give a shit about this, you know, company from this restaurant group out of London who spent $10 million on a build out. And I'm just making up stuff right now, but they come and they spend a $10 million build out and they go broke in a year. And everyone's like, good for that. Losers.
And you're the opposite.
I'm the opposite. Somebody, you don't know who, first of all, you don't know how that impacts people's lives. Right. You don't know who is the investors. The operators may have screwed up. The investors put their money in, and whether you're a billionaire or you have $100,000 in your savings account, that's still someone's money.
Where did you get that morale, that ethic, that spirituality? Does that come from your parents?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think it probably comes from my parents. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but yeah, I would say a lot of me comes from my parents, my brother, and my sister.
But that's such you know, you don't want your success to be built on other people's failures. And you really, I just hear it in your passion that I mean, even thinking about other people losing money and how bad that is, your empathy and your compassion for other people in this industry is just amazing.
Well, I've met a lot of different people of a lot of different types, right? Like I've spent a lot of time with chef types. I've tried to help people when they have problems, navigate stuff, help whatever way I can. You know, I've learned that I'm very fortunate in my company that I have, you know, I don't have like, my investor group is very small. It's just my friends. Yeah. Like I got my friends from high school from Canada.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
awesome.
Well, like stuff like that. And like everyone's like, you're nuts to take your friend's money because what happens if you lose it? I'm like, but it's because it's my friend's money. I won't lose it.
Right. I was going to say, because it drives you probably.
It does drive me. And so there's a very small group of us, but the team that we have in place from the ownership side and from the operations side are all talented in very different ways. We've surrounded ourselves with very smart people. So I have a really good pool of resources. And I think a lot of people do not understand. They're like, oh, I can do this. No, you can't.
Right.
It's never you.
I love that.
It's
a team.
You. It is fully a team.
Same
Absolutely.
at Haber Law. Jerry Blair, former CEO and chairman of the board of World Fuel Services, taught me 30 years ago. Always surround yourself with people smarter than you and more talented than you.
100%.
And don't feel threatened by it.
100%. You don't, because like I'm good at some things. And there's some things I'm not good at. And I just don't try to do it.
That's why I have Josh here. Because he is way smarter than me.
It's true.
Yes, I've got way smarter people.
No,
than me
I mean,
myself.
it's just the truth.
No, and it is what it is. And sometimes, you know, you see it and you're like, man, if any of these restaurateurs or these smaller groups are like, you know, they sit there and they're like, oh, look how they got lucky. We didn't get lucky. We worked hard.
You were on the verge of failure 10 years ago.
And we worked hard and we worked as a team, and we have a group of people, and whether it's someone who gave you a few dollars, every business needs someone to give a few dollars.
Yep.
You know, we are super self-invested. Where we've reinvested over and over again in ourselves. But, you know, whether it's somebody, you need somebody one day to believe in you and give you a few dollars. You need a landlord to believe in you to give you the right lease. You need a partner who knows the things that you don't know. So if you're a chef, you need somebody that knows operations, accounting, that stuff.
And you need a great team around you.
You need to know, do you have any friends that are lawyers, and do you know they're good and they're not lawyers because they like to go eat? You know, you got to surround yourself with all this money.
Crosses you off the list.
So you got to know all the right people.
You just hit me twice in this episode.
I'm noticing.
I just want you to know he's now 2 strikes, on me.
So, yeah. And I mean, I got to imagine, first of all, I think all of us would probably agree. It's more fun to win as a team to begin with.
Without a doubt.
But I got to ask on that note of winning that way. I got to go back in time and when you did get the Michelin star at Ariete, because I think it's a great story. Walk us through that, and again, maybe it was more momentous in the public eye than it was for you guys, but I'm really curious sort of what that experience was like.
Man, that was
did you see it coming? I mean, did you know?
Listen, it's one of these things that you find out that Michelin announces that they're coming. And then it's like,
that was a big deal too.
It's a big deal for the Miami scene because that's
huge.
It spurred
qualified it.
It qualified Miami, and it spurred all these other restaurateurs to come in here and elevate everybody. So everybody pushes themselves harder, which is an incredible.
Everybody's game on.
Yeah, it's incredible for the city as a whole. So when obviously, we were written up a bunch of times that we're always on everyone's list that Ariete will probably win a star. And obviously we would that would be amazing, but let's not, you never know with these
no
things.
Kanahara.
Right. You're not banking on it.
You're not banking on it.
But do they send people in to eat there? And do you know when they're coming?
No, never.
Oh, that's cool.
You never know they're coming.
You see that in the movies, where they send the person and they freak out that someone's there and maybe it's the right, maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
That isn't. And the whole thing is that they come multiple times.
Right.
Really?
It's never once, right?
It's never once. It's multiple times, and it has to be consistent each time. Wow. You can't have one good experience and get a star.
Right.
Do they send the same person? Different people.
Wow. And it needs to be consistent. It needs to be this. So what it essentially forces you, and like I said, the pandemic trained us for this because we started going more in this direction. And so you need to be perfect with every guest all the time.
That's amazing.
And so, it was a stressful time, but we also knew that it would be a game changer for us as a company. And also at the same time, it is massively rewarding for your team.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Qualifies all that hard work. And
because people always say this. He's a Michelin star chef. That does not exist. It is a Michelin star restaurant. The award is for everybody at that restaurant.
Right. That's great. That's a great point.
And
That I never thought about it that way.
Well, yeah, there was an article that came out this week, and it said Michelin starred chef Michael Beltran, and Michael Beltran is not happy about this at all because it's not true. It's not.
Chugs
true.
ain't happy.
Chug is not happy. It's not happy because it takes away from the team. That's not. It's not.
It's not who he is, and it's not what your organization is.
Of course, he's the one that accepts the award, and he's the leader of the team. You know, he's the captain of the team.
Chefs are a face, and
yeah, exactly. He's the captain of the team, and like all that stuff like that. But it's when he was, talking about this, I'm like, I get it, because every time I read it, I'm like, yeah, and it's fine. People can do whatever they want, and it's publicity and stuff like that. So when you say Michelin-starred chef. You're promoting yourself, and that's cool. And everybody has a different way. But we believe in, and Chef specifically believes, that is a team award for the restaurant. Ariete won the star.
Right.
Not
Haber Law, every time I see a letter with I cross it out and I say Haber Law or we.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in the I concept.
Yeah.
It's got to be we.
So is it is it a phone call moment? Is this like the Nobel Prize? Like, how does this happen?
No. So basically what happens is you get an invitation first.
Right.
To the ceremony. So the first year was in Orlando. So Chef gets an invitation to Orlando to go to the ceremony. But you have no idea what that means because they invite lots of people.
Right. Could be a bib gourmand, could be a notable mention. I mean, there's all kinds of,
Could be anything. So you don't know. And then so I said, Chef's like, okay. So he's like, I only want me and you to go, just the two of us. So we're going to go. So I'm like, okay. So we go, you stay there. Then there was a bunch of the chef's crew around. And everyone starts drinking before the ceremony and you get in there. And they go through this whole process. It's like a ton of butterflies and you're freaking out.
Right. You're at the Oscars.
You're at the Oscars, and it's the first ceremony we've ever been to. It's not like we've been to it now 4 years in a row. So
and they have hundreds of chefs there, and
there's it was filled
and
with
owners.
Yeah, because it's also 3 cities, right?
Right.
Well, now it's the whole state, but it was just Miami, Tampa, Orlando, and so when we got there, we're sitting there going, and then obviously it comes up and you don't know how it's going to work, but they. Now we're going to award the Michelin stars. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, so
gets quiet.
We don't know how it's going to work or what this does. And obviously Michelin, we will sarcastically or joke, but seriously, it's true that we are the first restaurant in Florida that won a Michelin star because they went in alphabetical order.
So you're the first name. So you were the inaugural.
I think you should, that should be something you revere for the rest of your life.
One of my business partners always walks around. We're the first restaurant. He tells everyone we're the first restaurant in Miami that won.
Which is absolutely true.
It's absolutely true, but it's totally misleading, right?
That doesn't matter. Come on,
it doesn't matter. Yeah, we were 30 seconds above someone.
You should
else.
name a restaurant that first Michelin star restaurant ever.
So what was the reaction from you and Chef?
Chef had to go up and get his jacket. He was elated. He was super proud.
Were you shaking?
I was crying. I was being consoled by some random girl. She's like, are you okay?
You guys are 4 tequilas deep and you're like, just
no, dirty martinis.
I was like, am I crying? And I'm just like, at that moment, probably for my professional career, probably the moment that will never be, there will never be better than that. Never be better than that. We could win 3 stars at a restaurant and it would not even come close to that. I don't even care. That moment in itself is life-defining.
Total validation.
It's like your first Super Bowl.
Yeah. And it's like how hard we work to get there. Cause it's not like, like I said, right. Ariete's a restaurant that, was built with very little money. It's built on hard work, team, lots of dedication, struggles.
That's how Josh feels about the New England Patriots 7 Super Bowls. The first one meant the most to him.
Well, I think it's like any of us who are entrepreneurs, some of that early recognition, you don't realize it. Sometimes you have that penultimate moment where you're like, wow, everything got us to this place.
It was a really spectacular moment.
Followed by a lot of drinking.
Oh man.
That must have been an ugly night.
Well, I don't know. Chef and a bunch of the other guys went out and I couldn't find my way back to my hotel room because I had way too much champagne and didn't eat. So I was lost.
Gotta eat.
So I just went and I just called our team back home and my wife.
I have another interesting question. Now that your group is this very successful group that is exploding with more and more restaurants. Do other great chefs come up to you and Michael and your brother and say, we'd like to join your team, I have an idea? Or how do you get the other chefs?
No,
Do they come to you? Do you go to them? Or are they friends with
most of the time they're
chef?
friends with Chef because he's entwined. There's a lot of his buddies, so they kind of get together, and it's a different, unique scenario. Like I have one chef partner, Michael Beltran. He's in charge of all the restaurants. The only times we venture out is when we do these little partnerships where we're doing something with like Raheem. Right.
Right. You're doing
Raheem, that's the
barbecue.
He's the chef. He's the chef over there. And that's a partnership, and it's a different setup. But if you want to work for Ariete Hospitality Group, you're working for Michael Beltran. He's my one and only chef. He's my chef partner, and he'll always be that. And so it's really like most times, right? You open a restaurant and then
Love the loyalty.
Yeah, well, that's it.
That's very important in business.
Yeah.
Loyalty is super important in business.
Yeah.
Can I do rapid fire now? Or
Yeah, we got one more. I got one more question. It's actually a perfect lead into rapid fire. So if there was one dish that embodied the soul of Ariete Hospitality, if you had to put on this, but you're going to have to answer this. You can't. You can't
there's
dodge it.
no dodging.
Right. Like if you the plate down and said, that's us right there.
So as a group or as a restaurant?
No, as a group.
Okay.
As a collective.
Okay. So I'll give you actually the two answers because there's really the two that popped in my head. As a group, it's the frita for sure. It is the frita. It was on the menu at Ariete for a while. It's literally how Chef introduced me to Cuban food. When he was taking me, he's like, teach me about Cuban food. So we took me for a drive in Little Havana and all his favorite spots. Mary's Coin Laundry was my favorite. But we had frita at the Ariete menu for a while. Now we have it at Chuggy's. We had it at Chug's. So it is something that it's quintessential Cuban American. It's something that chefs always, we've delivered it from there. And I think, we do so many different things. And Chef, I don't know how many food items we have across all of our company, but it's a lot. But something we've always had is a frita. So I'm going to go with frita. And if Ariete dish is the duck press. So I just want to tell you guys about the duck press.
Please. Tell me.
Okay, so you guys know.
I love duck.
Do you know what a duck press is?
Nope.
Okay, it's when they basically.
I don't even know what a frita is, but I'm keeping quiet.
Frita's a Cuban burger. Let me just.
Right.
Cuban hamburger. Cuban hamburger. You can go to Chuggy's and get one.
Okay.
$8.95.
No, I have a coupon.
There's no coupon.
F you, I got a coupon.
So
that's the best joke is it's a comb over. You bring it from way back and then you bring it forward.
Yeah, you just bring it forward.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'll give you guys the Grove tour. How about that?
Okay. So tell us about the duck press.
So the duck press is just because it's a funny story. And if there's one dish at Ariete, there's a lot of dishes at Ariete that could tell that story, but the duck press is one. And the reason is that this is probably 2019. And Chef's like, I have a thought. And I'm like,
strap the seatbelt.
I'm like, what's up?
Another 1 a.m. text message.
And he sends me a picture of a duck press. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, that's a duck press. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, well, you take it. You basically carve the duck. You put all its bones in this press. And then you crush it and it creates a juice. Okay. I'm like, nobody in fucking Miami is going to.
Duck juice.
I'm like, nobody in Miami is going to do this. I'm like,
I'm already getting nervous.
Okay. And I'm like, nobody's going to fucking buy this. I'm like, he's like, no, I think they will. And he goes, but I'm like, just explain to me this process here. And he's like, and he starts to explain to it. And I'm like, yeah, Miami's not going to buy this. I'm like, I have some French background and being from Canada, like I get French food pretty significantly. I'm like, Mike, this is not going to work in Miami. He's like, I think it will. I'm like, well, whatever. How much does this cost? I can't remember the whole setup. It was something, I don't know. I think it was 15,000 or something like that.
A lot more than a coffee press.
I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't think so, Mike. I think this is crazy.
But what do you do with the juice?
You put it on the duck. It's the sauce for the duck.
So you crush everything and then put it on the duck.
Yeah, you put it on the duck. When you go to Ariete, you're going to have to eat it. It's amazing.
It's part of my coupon.
So when
I'm so excited, you have no idea.
So,
I'm doing a pub crawl. I'm doing it all. Lisa, I promise we're not just going to Joe's anymore. Okay.
So
we'll still go, but We now have other restaurants.
But this was like a recurring thing that literally 3 times a week he would send me texts about.
Right.
And
How long did it
you just
take?
resign to it? Were you like, all right, enough?
At what point did you finally give in?
Okay, because I then had a phobia when I was fed up of going to restaurants and seeing waiters in jeans. It just started driving me crazy. Everybody was like, jeans. All the servers wore jeans. And so we had to get some new uniforms. I'm like, can we get fucking pants? I want pants.
Black pants.
Yeah.
He's like, only if I get a duck press.
No, so what ended up happening is that we met up.
It's like trading.
We literally separately. I went for dinner. I was actually at Guy. So I went for dinner at Guy with my wife and some friends.
My wife loves ghee.
And then Mike had gone out somewhere else. And then it just so happened we ended all up at Jaguar Sun. And just before he ended up at Jaguar Sun, we were doing whole rounds of all these shots.
Again, the liquor. It's unbelievable the amount of liquor.
Chef sees me and we start just talking. And then he notices how banged up I am. And he's also banged up. So he goes, so I have a thought. And I'm like, so he goes, duck press. I'm like, fuck it, chef. It's not going to work. And then he's like,
15
no.
grand.
Goes, I'll trade you the black pants for the duck press. He's like, you get the black pants for the waiters or for the servers, and I get a duck press. Fucking right. Deal. So then we did it. And then the duck press was like literally started with 1 a day. It sold out every day. Then it was 2 a day. Sold out every day. And then it's been
Right, well, now we're obligated to try it. And I'm not even going to ask for a coupon.
No, you're going to live off of my coupon. You're always living off of me.
There you go.
The number one complaint for me at Ariete is I booked Ariete and I went there for the duck press and it was sold out.
And it was sold out. So what's the tip?
How many?
Show up early?
Go early.
Yeah.
And
ask for it.
well, that's good because I'm a 6 o'clock guy now, right?
You are.
Actually,
exactly.
Lisa and I don't go to
Asleep
dinner.
by 9:30.
We don't go out till 8 o'clock for dinner. And by the way, when we go to South America and
Or
you go to Spain, they don't go out to dinner till 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. All right. Rapid fire. You're up, David Haber.
Favorite sneaker?
Adidas.
Okay. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite number?
7.
Favorite type of food?
Italian.
All good.
Italian. So I'm going to.
Favorite watch where you don't wear watches?
Dollar watches.
Good for you. Even better. So I'm going to ask one last question before we close out here, Andrew. Are you open to any kind of food? Is Ariete Hospitality open to any
Chinese, Japanese,
right? I mean, in terms of that expansion. I mean, it sounds like in phase 2, you're going to be doing some very interesting things. Are we going to see Ariete Hospitality expand into, maybe some stuff in the Far East kind of categories?
Listen, I personally absolutely love Chinese food. Like, if there was, and again, we know what our capacities are, our levels. You know what I mean? And chef knows what his culinary position is. But if there was an opportunity to work with somebody who was, in something that we were also passionate about. We've talked about Chinese restaurant 100 times, but we're not Chinese and we don't work in that world and we wouldn't do the best job possible. But if there was some severely talented people out there with a cool idea and, something made sense, then yeah, like there's like I said, we're moving in a direction that we also will work with other groups whose skill set is different than ours.
Right.
If it made sense. So there's but always the idea for me is life should be fun and you should enjoy it and work needs to be enjoyable. So be surrounded by people that you like and that you like to go to work to or go to a meeting with. And so we've just kind of stayed really true to that. And, we're not chasing dollar signs. Right. Dollar signs will come with hard work and you can do that. But, if you're able to share, just like sharing in your successes is way more fun.
Right.
It's so much more fun to sit there and have something amazing happen. And you just, you meet up with one of your partners or your teammates or, people that you work with, your wife, whatever, like this stuff is it's so much more fun. So when we explore in some of those new projects we've done, it's because people that we really like.
Do you think you'll get to 25 or 50 restaurants in your lifetime?
There's a way that could happen, but it's not an ambition.
Okay.
It's not an ambition. The ambition is excellence, having fun, and stuff like that. So, obviously.
And enjoying it with the people that you care about.
Yeah. Surround yourself with people that you like, and then you'll really enjoy it.
That's why Josh keeps me around.
Yeah,
I do.
Josh,
he also has a box of coupons that are just incredible.
You always ask everybody one question at the end, and I can't remember the question because I'm not as smart and my brain isn't, I'm getting old.
But he does preview this well for me because
no,
it is always
one
our bonus
question you always ask.
So in your case, what I'm going to ask you is if there was one thing you could change about the Miami restaurant scene, what would it be? One thing. You could wave a magic wand and have something be different.
That's it. The magic wand.
It's the magic wand.
I couldn't remember the question, but it's a great question.
Man, I wish Miami people, I wish they would give opportunities, and what I mean, spend your dollars more at some of these smaller, unknown Miami restaurants. They're talked about in newspapers. They're talked about in all different kinds of places. Online
blogs and influencers and all this.
Yeah, but the problem is a lot of those, like influencers, some are great, some are not. And, and a lot of times it's paid and they're getting drink.
Right.
They're not really there, but
they're getting coupons.
If you look up a lot of these, if you look up infatuation in Miami Herald and all the stuff like this, oftentimes they mention a lot of like local restaurants.
They do.
But it doesn't necessarily translate that people don't go there.
Right.
They don't go there enough.
So your magic wand is get people to spend their dollars on local places all over town.
Just try them.
Right.
Just go and try them because a lot of these people, you have no idea. It's like we were talking about the big names and everybody knows about those, right? I go to those ones there. But these smaller ones, it's like they don't even get a chance because nobody even wants to give them a chance. Because if you did, you'd love that restaurant, right? Like there's so many good little restaurants. And listen, some are not so good. But I think that there's a lot of talent out there. But it's trying. Sometimes man, people in Miami, people from New York try them.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why tourist season is amazing for everybody because the tourists from New York,
they'll try it.
They're like, I heard this place sounds cool. Let's go there. You know what I mean? But the locals don't support as much because they have their ones that they've gone to. And then this is out there and it's just the way it is.
Josh takes me out of my comfort zone to other restaurants because he and Jesse, yes, and I'm one of the few people who calls her that, they're foodies who like to try new places. I'm more of a conservative. I go to the places I know,
sure.
But they take me outside my comfort zone and they will read in the paper, hey, this new restaurant just opened. Let's go try it.
Yeah.
And you're saying we should all do that and we should use our dollars to support those local restaurants.
Yeah. And listen, trust me, if you don't spend your dollars at Carbone, they will survive.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
They will somehow limp it along.
Miles will be fine at Prom 112 if you decide not to go there once, and Joe's will always be there.
Yeah.
These places will always be there. But the truth of the matter is you can go to some of these smaller restaurants, which oftentimes are husband and wife, run. A lot of them are husband and wife run. And these people put so much effort and the food is amazing.
And it's their life. It's their livelihood.
And you sit there, but some of them, like I'm saying, not all of them are great.
Right.
And that's cool. And you give them a chance and it sucked. But some of them are really good. And just oftentimes where'd you go to eat? Where'd you go to eat? I'm always hearing the same things. And I'm like, dude, it's cool, but try these places.
I love that you go to so many different places. Does your wife get tired of going out to dinner with you?
No, she gets pissed that we don't do it enough. Because my wife cooks for me dinner every night. So we only go out, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the other night she cooks. So, but we go out, but oftentimes it's out for meetings and stuff like that. So no, she loves it. My wife shares the same interests as I do in terms of hospitality and dining out and stuff like that. We love hotels and we love eating. Those are the two favorite things.
Andrew, thanks so much for joining us, hanging out.
Good time, guys.
Great talking.
We had a great time.
Can't wait.
This was fun.
Can't wait to come out and try it, and can't wait to see how many coupons you give David.
The Grove Crawl.
We're definitely doing a Grove Crawl.
The Grove Crawl.
And we're definitely going to the cigar bar downtown, and we're going to the bar on the beach.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
In the meantime, this is Sun Sand and Sold. I'm Josh Tomey with David Haber. We'll be right back.